So let's kick it off. Let's get started. So I am going to share my screen because I've got a wonderful little slideshow for you. Although let me just make sure I spotlight me so that you can see me. There we go. Okay. Wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So this is what we're doing today. We are doing consistent callbacks. How do I present it? Hold up. There we go. So that you can see it properly. So we are going to be looking at, you're going to be learning how you can get more callbacks and feel confident in every single audition, start booking your dream jobs. That's literally it. It's that simple. So that's what we're going to be looking at today. That is the whole point of this. So what I want you to do, I know some of you have been in a masterclass with me before, some of you have worked with me before, but what I want you to do is introduce yourself in the chat. Tell us, who are you and where are you in the world? Because I know we've got a few scattered around. You see, Billy said, happy Friday, feeling good. Laura says, feeling good. Maria's excited. Will says, pumped. Elise says, I got carried away doing mastering mixed voice, loving it. Good. I'm so glad. I love that program so much. Mixed voice was my first obsession as a voice teacher, as a vocal coach. So I'm so glad you're loving it. I absolutely love that program so much. Jacqueline says, I'm okay. I've had some less than great news, but I'm dealing with that. I'm hoping that this cheers me up a bit. 100% it will. That's what we're here for, Jacqueline, to keep you moving. Billy says, here from Essex. Will says, hi. Will, based in Wiltshire, near Stonehenge. Lara says, hey, I'm based in the US. Background in musical theatre and opera. Yes. Elise says, I'm from Essex too. Amazing. Amazing, amazing. So keep dropping it in, keep introducing yourself in the chat. Jacqueline says, I'm here from London. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay, so I can see all of your wonderful faces as well, which is really nice. I love to be able to see you and talk to you like I'm talking to, real human beings on the other side of the screen. Maria says, I'm writing from Portugal and I'm a musical theatre grad. Yeah, Maria, I'm so glad you could come to Becoming a Leading Lady concert on Monday. I'm so glad that you were there and I got to meet you. So I'm really glad you can be here for this as well, now that you're back in Portugal. So you're here today because you know you're meant to give an incredible audition. You know that you're here to get more callbacks, to book your dream job. I want you to write a yes if you're like, yes, that is me. She's talking about me. I'm here because I know that I'm meant to give an incredible audition. I know that I should be getting more callbacks. I know that I should be booking my dream job. Put a yes in the chat if that is you. Yes, 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 I am. Yes, 100%. Okay, great. So you're in the right place. You're definitely in the right place. Now, right now, you might find that with your auditions, you're having maybe occasional callbacks. 1 month, you'll have quite a few and you're like, yes, I'm rolling, we're going, we're getting loads of callbacks. And then literally the next month, you're like, okay, it's like crickets. Every audition I've been into, or I haven't been in many auditions and I'm literally not getting anywhere. And then the next month it changes again and you've got a couple of callbacks, but a couple that you haven't had any success with. And it's just really inconsistent, really inconsistent. So what we want to do is take you from that occasional sporadic recall callback rate to consistent callbacks, to get in consistent recalls, regular recalls. So this might be you, and you'll have to let me know in the chat if this is you. You feel good about your audition. You go into your singing audition, you're like, yeah, that went pretty well. Then you're checking your phone afterwards, refreshing your emails all the time, but you didn't get a recall invite. Nothing comes through. You check your spam folder, you check all your emails, you check your phone, you turn it off and on again. You're like refreshing every hour and nothing. If this sounds like you have to let me know in the chat. If you're like, yes, I've been there, I've been that person, refreshing my emails every 2 seconds. Or if you're like, I'm doing that right now, I'm waiting to hear from something and I'm doing it all the time right now. You think you did a good audition, but you're continuously like checking for that. Did I? Is it going anywhere else? Am I getting any, am I going any further in the process? Yeah. Lara says this has happened before. Yes. Yeah. The second guessing is real. Yeah. Now you might want to feel, or you might feel actually that you're really confident in your performance. You want to be remembered for being great. Even if you're not right for the role, you want to know that when you step in an audition room, you're like, yes, I feel confident, I nailed that. So no matter what happens, no matter what the outcome is, I know that I stood out for all the right reasons. I know that team, that panel are going to remember me. So even if they don't think I fit this current jigsaw, they'll go, we're going to bring her in for this though. Yeah, just checking back to our chat. Yeah, I've been there. Currently waiting for some news. Yes, a lot of the time, Elise says, checking your emails. Yeah. Yeah. So if this sounds like you and you're like, yes, I want to feel confident no matter what, whether I booked the role or I didn't book the role, whether I booked the room, didn't book the room, in that moment, you want to feel like, actually, I did book the room. I gave a great performance. I gave a great audition, and they're going to remember me for all the right reasons, whether they cast me in this show, whether they have space for me in this show or not. Now, maybe you get good auditions, but you're unsure of whether you've got the right songs in your rep. Now, I know some of you have done rep revamp, so you'll be like, actually, do you know what? I have got good songs in my rep. I know I've got good songs in my rep because I've done that program. I've got songs that are perfect for me. And if you've done rep revamp, you'll have to be like, hell yes. Like, let us know in the chat. Yeah, Lara says, feeling much better on the song front. Good, 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 good. So you get good auditions, but you're unsure of whether you have the right songs in your rep. So you're often questioning your song choice, whether that's when you're preparing for the audition, you're like, okay, I'm going to sing this and this. So when I used to decide what I was singing for auditions, I would get a little sticky tab and put it on the songs that I'm going to sing. Like if it was like two contrasting, da 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 da, I'd be like, right, sticky tape on this one, sticky tape on this one, because then I could literally flick to that one straight away, put it in front of the pianist, and I didn't even need to go back over to the pianist to find the next song. You know, when the pianist sits there and you kind of lean across them and you're like trying to flick and it's awkward. I didn't like that, so I changed that. I put sticky tabs in there so that by the time I finished my first song and walked over to the pianist, if I was asked for a second song, the pianist had already found the tab and was already open on it, ready to go, which you want that efficiency. So even if you find you're like, okay, I've prepared my song in advance, these are the ones I'm singing, and then you stand outside the audition room and go, maybe should I, that person just sung this song, maybe I should change it. Or I've heard loads of people singing like more soprano choices, maybe I shouldn't do something that's like mixed belt, maybe I should do something soprano. Like, you question your song choice, whether it's at home in your preparations, whether it's the day of, whether it's literally the moment of, you change your mind just before you step in the audition room. And you want to feel 100% confident with your song choice. You want to have no doubt, no reason to go, or maybe my song was the reason I didn't book it, or I chose the wrong song. Or when you're singing a song, you're thinking, I shouldn't have picked this. You want to feel 100% confident with your song choice before you step into the audition room and when you are inside the audition room. Yeah, just coming back to the chat. Yeah, Billy says, hell yeah. Billy's like, so it's really interesting, isn't it, Billy? Like, Billy said before she did Rep Revamp, she was like, I used to look at my rep and be like, I don't have anything, like I don't know what to sing. And now I'm stood outside the audition room going, I want to sing all of these. Like, which one do I sing? Because they're all so good. That's such a good place to be. Such a good place to be. You can literally be like, this one, because they're all perfect for you. Yeah, Lara says that happened to me at a big audition last year. I heard my audition song right before I went in, and I changed from a belter to a soprano song, and it was not a good fit for the audition. Oh no. Yeah, Lara, I'm sure so many of us have been there. Didn't get a call back when I'd gotten 2 callbacks previously for that contract. Yeah, and in that moment, and that's why you need to be so sure of your songs and so sure of yourself that no matter what changes around you, you are unwaveringly confident in you and your choice and your songs and your rep. Like, no matter what, and the building can be falling down around you and you'd be like, I'm going to sing this song. It doesn't matter. Every single person can have sung that song before you, and you can go in and be like, cool, yeah, now I'm going to sing my version because this is what I'm great at. And it's that difference, isn't it? And I know some people say like, oh, if somebody sings the same song as you, then just go in and do it better. But in my opinion, there isn't really a better or a worse. Like, you can't really be better or worse because you're so different. So if you can sing the notes and you can tell a story, if you're an actor and you're a singer, then you're going to give a great performance. So it's not a case of, okay, go in and sing it better. Like, it's go in and do your version and show who you are and show what you have to offer, because it's going to be completely different. And, you know, as so many of you know, or you will know if you've been in recalls, if you've been to callbacks, you're all singing the same song on repeat anyway. Like, no matter what you go in for, whether you go in for Les Mis, they are going to hear I Dreamed a Dream 50,000 times in a couple of days. If you go in for, you know, Wicked, and everyone's singing like The Wizard and I or Defying Gravity, like, it is what it is. You can't change your song choice because that's the set material. So if you can get used to and you can get confident in yourself and your song, that it doesn't matter if anyone else is doing exactly the same thing, and you've literally got 50 other, you know, girls or guys stood beside you singing the identical, like the same piece of music, telling the same story. How do you still stand out from that? It's from knowing that you have your own version. So go into this. Yeah, Billy's replied and said, literally sport for choice now. This is what you need. You need the perfect audition song formula. So it's interesting actually, I've called it formula because I would normally call it my framework. So I think I got stuck in the leading lady formula in my head. I think there. So the perfect song framework. This is a framework that I use inside a Rep Revamp. I use it with private clients. I use it with anyone that comes to me to work on finding perfect songs. So those of you that have done Rep Revamp, or Lara, I know you're currently in Rep Revamp, you will know this. You'll be like, yeah, I know this is the way. And if you're in the Get Booked membership as well, this is something that I do a full training on inside of there as well. So I know most of you know me pretty well, but just in case you don't, I know there's the odds. I know, Maria, you don't know me as well. I went from auditioning for every single job I could get in for. And when I tell you every single job, like, I'm not kidding. Every single audition. I was trying to be what I thought the panel wanted me to be. I was singing what I thought the panel wanted me to sing, which I'll go off on that in a minute. I was getting 0 recalls, shock, and feeling really stuck, really lost in my musical theatre career. Really stuck and really lost. I was like asking myself continuously when I stepped out another audition and got another no, I was like, what am I doing wrong? Like, am I no good? Like, is it that I'm not good enough? That wasn't the case. I was doing all the right things behind the scenes, but what I was taking into the audition room was the problem. So let me just jump back as well to this about the panel. In fact, I'm going to go into this in a minute, so I'm not going to expand on that right now. But now, well, not now, but still doing this now, but previous to now, so back in sort of 2017, 2016 kind of time, this is when I decided, like, right, something's wrong. I was auditioning now with songs that are perfect for me. I felt when I stepped into a singing audition, I was like, I'm feeling super confident. Like, I felt like a leading lady, and instantly changing my rep folder, I instantly started getting regular recalls and booking my dream job, which is awesome. Like, that's the whole point, isn't it? You know that when you do step in an audition and you're like, this feels amazing, you nearly always get somewhere from that. Whether you book that job, whether you get that recall, or you get called in for something else with that team, you know that that has been a great audition. There's no better feeling than stepping out of an audition and being like, yes, I smashed it. There's no worse feeling than walking out and thinking, what did I do wrong? What's wrong with me? Yeah. Lara says, I can relate to that. I was doing all the right things to prepare, and then my audition song choices in the room were just not it. Yeah. It's harder when the panel has already heard so much of your book for past auditions and callbacks. Yeah, it is. But also, I think there's something really important to remember in that as well, Lara, that they see so many performers. And I used to feel like that when I had my perfect rep folder, because I didn't have many songs in there, and I always sung the same sort of 3 songs on repeat. And in doing that, people did get to know me, and even if they'd heard the same song again and again and again, nobody ever said to me, Gemma, we've heard you sing that one 50,000 times, can you sing something else? And if they had, then I did have a couple of other options as well. But I don't think there's anything wrong than becoming known for singing certain songs or always singing the same thing. Like, if you do it well, great. It's just like, here's a reminder of how awesome I am. And they'll be like, oh yes, of course, I remember you. Here's your callback material. Which I think ultimately, like, that's it, isn't it? You're not doing a show. You don't need to have 1,001 songs. Yeah. Ooh, I like that perspective, Lara says. Yeah, absolutely. So here's me now. Here's me literally on Monday. And some of you were there. If you were there, put I'm there in the chat. Remind me who was there. I know quite a few of you actually on this were there. Yeah. Yeah, Billy was there, Jacqueline was there. You guys were literally sat like down here, weren't you? Which is great. Yeah, no, Maria was there. Will was like, I'm there in spirit. Yeah. Lara says, oh my god, I wish I was there. So cool. It was awesome. So me now, obviously Monday I did a West End concert. Becoming a leading lady, which I'm sure is first of many, I have no doubt. And I help musical theatre performers all around the world do exactly the same thing: become incredible performers, incredible singers, get more callbacks, book lead roles, and just have like the best non-stop successful musical theatre career as a leading lady, as a leading man, as a performer. My clients are all around the world now. I have a couple of clients in the West End. I have clients on tours, internationally, on cruises, and yeah, as I said, all around the world. So this is my rep story. This is what I wanted to tell you, because this holds so many lessons inside of it. And I remind myself of this a lot, because at the moment for me, I have a couple of songs now that I use, but I don't have many. So I'm like, okay, this is the constant reminder that you don't need loads and loads of songs. So this is me back in, I think this is 2016 or 2015, this photo is. But just before, or just around this time, it's just before this time, I had over 12 songs in my rep folder. And even as I say it now, I can't help but be amused, because this is what I thought I needed. And in fact, when I was leaving drama school and when I was going into auditions, and even now you might come across people that believe you need loads and loads of different songs, that you need a whole entire show and concert of rep inside of your folder. You don't. In having all these songs, I got cut from almost every audition because I just had too many songs. None of them were specific to me. I was ticking boxes. Every single song was like, yeah, contemporary musical theatre ballad, contemporary musical theatre up-tempo, legit ballad, legit up-tempo, golden age, a pop, rock, a Disney. Look, so many different check boxes that I was ticking off. Yeah, Elise says it's what they tell you in drama school. It is. Yeah. So when I decided to do something about my rep, what had happened was I had gone to another audition where I didn't get a call back. I didn't get a recall. I walked out the room, and it was at Pineapple Studios, and if you've been there, you'll literally be able to see this. And I walked out of the room, I walked down the stairs, out the front, and literally stood on the street just outside the entrance to Pineapple Studios and looked up at the sky and was like, what am I doing wrong? Like, what am I doing wrong? And as I was walking down the street, I got my phone out and went onto Facebook, because Facebook was more of a thing than Instagram back then. It wasn't that long ago, actually. Maybe not. But I looked at Facebook because it was on Facebook that I saw this. And a company that I'd been following and done the odd class with, that I was also taking a class with that evening, had posted about a rep class. And I was like, At this point, I wasn't massive on believing in signs. I was just like, oh, that's ironic. I thought, oh, they're listening to me. Like, the social media gods are listening. So I went along to my class that evening, and it was with a casting director called Duncan Stewart, who at the time had a casting office with his business partner in New York. And he was over doing auditions for Royal Caribbean, and he also at the time, I don't know about now, had his partner was living over here. And in that class, I'd taken a class with him in the past before. And in that class, he looked at my folder and he said to me, are these songs working for you in your auditions? And I literally took a breath and was like, no, not really. And he said, I'm not surprised. He said, these are all bubblegum. He was like, you're better than these. You're so much better than these songs. And the room was completely silent. Like, it was one of those moments. And if you've been in a casting director class, or with a creative, whether it's a musical director or a director, with a composer, there are sometimes moments where like nobody breathes. And that's what that moment felt like. But in my head, it was like the penny just dropped. Like something clicked in my brain, and I was like, that's it. Like, that's the problem. It opened the door to, this is where we now need to go. This is what we need to do. So I booked that rep class that I saw, which was with this same company, and really very quickly learnt that it's not about ticking boxes. It's not about having songs from different categories. It's about finding songs that you are literally like, oh my God, this composer and lyricist was watching me. Like, they have written this about my life. Even if it's Rodgers and Hammerstein, who are no longer with us, Sondheim, all of these golden oldies, and you're like, they must have seen into the future and literally been like, right, I'm writing this song for Gemma Round Barnes. Like, that is how I felt when I found my perfect songs. And that's how you should feel with your songs too, that you're like, this song was written for me. Like, my voice sounds amazing. I connect to the story. Like I get it. I can do this. I can nail it. And with my perfect audition songs, with the songs that I felt like that about, I got recalls for nearly every audition I went into. Nearly every single audition. And I was at a point, so I've always had three dream jobs that were like at the top of my list. One of them, I've not been old enough for. The other two, one was Hong Kong Disneyland and one was cruises. And at this point, I had done cruises. So next on my list were these next two. Now, I was getting called back for both of these other two dream jobs, both of them. And I was getting really close. One of them, they just kept saying to me, actually, you're too young. I was like, well, why do you keep calling me in for this? If you know I'm too young, or you think I'm too young. And the other one, I was getting to finals every time, so for Disney, and just not booking the job, not getting the phone call. Months passed, and I was like, oh, I guess I didn't get it again. And on the seventh time, I finally booked it, and I knew that I'd booked it. I knew it. The power of rep is huge. Yeah, I'm just jumping back into the chat. Yeah, Billy says, at drama school, I was told I need at least 2 in every style / TikTok. Yeah, like how useful is that? Also, like, I love how people are like, oh, when the panel asks what else you got, or when they want to flick through your folder. I have been to thousands of auditions in my over a decade in the industry, and I can honestly tell you, the only time somebody has flicked through my folder, well, there's a couple of times. One was Duncan Stewart in this class when he told me my rep was bubblegum. And the other one was James Pearson, who had heard a lot of my material. Again, this was in a workshop. This wasn't in an audition. He'd heard pretty much everything inside of my folder and was like, what else have you got? Or what have I not heard? And so he wanted to flick through and be like, what have you got that you don't really know? Or what have you got that might be sneaking in the back, like trying to catch me out? Like, never in an audition I've been asked, have you got anything else? Or what other options have you got? But nobody's taken my folder and been like, right, let's look through, or look at your table of contents. Because realistically, like, you don't need that many songs. Yeah, at least they say you have to cover every ground, but I'm finally learning it's not necessary. Yes, louder for the people at the back, Elise. Yeah. Like, you don't. And I can't believe it's still being taught. Like, there's still people out there teaching this. And the crazy thing is, and I was the same. For years, I went into auditions with these 12 songs. I used to have things in there I never used. In fact, I had, let me think, I know that, because I had a purple folder when I had 12 songs, and then I threw that entire purple folder away and got a hot pink one for my new rep. But I had My Funny Valentine in there. Never sung that in an audition in my life. There was another song. It wasn't Nice Work If You Can Get It, but it was something like that. I had Don't Tell Mama in there. Never sung that. I had Secret Love, which I sang once in my thousands of auditions. There definitely was more. But I used to use the same things over and over again. But even then, it didn't click in my head that I didn't need this other rubbish. Yeah, Elise says, oh no, I have a purple one now. It's time to get a pink one. No, you don't need a bright pink folder. Like, you have whatever colour folder you want. It's just that for me, I was like, the purple folder, I was like, you have served me for years. Like, it would have been like quite a few years by this, but like, for a lot of auditions. But I felt like, because I was refreshing I binned everything. I did not keep one single thing. I was like, I want a new folder to mark this, because when I get this new bright pink folder out, I will feel unstoppable. It's such a simple little teeny tiny thing, but like, it really does make a difference. If you've still got your old folder, it's still an old part of you. If you get that, if you're like, I totally feel that, you'll have to let me know in the chat. I don't know why I just said in the chat twice. I'm just looking at the chat, is what my brain then thought, so I said in the chat twice. Yeah, Laura says, literally the Hong Kong Disneyland story gives me chills every time. Also a contract I'm in callbacks for that hasn't panned out yet. Yet is the key word. I used to use that word all the time, because it's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time. Lara says, mine's a black folder and falling apart. I do need to refresh that gear. Yeah. It looks professional if you're like fresh. It's like having headshots that are 5 years old. Like I was laughing about this. For my concert on Monday, the venue posted on social media that the concert was happening like tonight. This was on Monday. The concert's happening tonight, and used this picture of me from like 2015 maybe. It's at least 7 or 8 years old, this photo. I had blonde hair. I'm like really super youthful and freckly and bright and fresh. And I literally, because I went onto Instagram, and it was the first thing that when I opened the app, I saw. I was like, what the? I was like, why is there an old picture of me on Instagram? And then I realised it was the Phoenix Arts Club posting about my show that evening. And I was like, where in the hell did they get that picture from? They must have gone on my website and literally gone into like the section that tells my story and just taken a random picture from that, rather than using the actual logos and icons and photos that I sent them to use. I was literally like, what in the hell? Like, we changed. So yeah, get a new folder, like refresh it. Will says, sorry, I can't read. I've got a blue one, but I got a few songs I just never even practice. Might as well be storage at this point. Time to organise. Yes, that's what it sounds like. This is going to be perfect for you then, Will. Yeah, Elise says it might be a nice refresh. Mine is falling apart and I love pink. Well, there you go. It's time. So I did all of this that I've just told you about with the perfect audition song framework. The framework that I'm about to tell you about. I'm about to share with you. Before I do, I'm going to share some client success. And Billy, you're here right now, so woohoo, cheering you on. I want to tell you about a couple of clients that I have helped either inside of Rep Revamp or as private clients that this has also worked for them. So in case you're like, oh yeah, you know, Gemma, like obviously it's worked for you, but has it worked for anybody else? Here's some examples. So Ellie, if you know Ellie, Ellie's like the most gorgeous personality in the world. She's so bright and bubbly. She used to suffer really badly with audition anxiety. She'd get really nervous. She'd fall apart in auditions. Now she knows exactly who she is, like what roles, what shows, what parts of the industry she is really great for, and what she's really great at. And from that, all of that is from finding and having the right audition songs and getting them obviously audition ready with me inside of our sessions. So she has booked some dream jobs over the last like year or two and before. And right now she's auditioning for some of her dream jobs. So it's 100% like tried and proven by her. Billy is another person, and Billy, you'll have to let us know like your story and your thoughts as well inside of the chat, because you're here with us. Billy used to question, as I said, before, you know, she sang in an audition or went in and sing an audition, like, what do I sing? She'd be outside the audition room or preparing and literally thinking, like, what do I sing? I don't have anything to sing, flicking through her folder. Now, as I said, she's got a handful of really great songs for her, and actually goes, which of these do I sing because I love them all so much? So it's a win-win no matter what she chooses and takes in the audition room. And she's got everything she needs for what she wants to do work-wise, for the roles, for the show she wants to get, and is getting recalls and auditions for dream jobs. You know, whether that's West End, I know you've got a West End audition this week, cruises over the last like month, tours, like so many of the jobs that you want to be doing, like you're now like perfectly slotting in the room and getting recalls for. Laura is another really great example. So Laura was slightly different because when Laura came to do Rep Revamp, she didn't have anything in her folder because she wasn't auditioning for musical theatre stuff anymore. despite the fact that she trained in musical theatre and actually is a really wonderful, legit soprano, she'd sung so much pop over the last however many years that she just, her musical theatre stuff completely, like, she didn't even know where to look or what to find anymore. So she really didn't know where she fit in the musical theatre industry. And as I said, singing a lot of pop for the job she was doing. Now she's like so super clear on her casting, really clear on her casting, and has the perfect songs for the jobs that she will book and wants to book. She's getting in front of cast and directors now as well. Oh, somehow I've opened me up again. I didn't want to do that. It's because I was just going to move my face out the way so that you can see what I wrote, but oh, now it's frozen. It's still frozen. Hang on, let me come back. But yeah, she's getting in front of people that she's wanted to be in front of and know now, okay, yes, I need to be in front of this person, which is what you want. You 100% want that. So let's re-share my screen. Oh, my video's also turned off, so that's really helpful. All right. Are we back? Are we working? Not just yet. Yeah, Billy said life-changing, which it is, like having stuff that actually is you and you feel confident singing and performing and taken into an audition room excuse me, will have the biggest effect on your auditions and on your career. Yeah, Billy says 6 months ago, would not believe that I'm, oh, I just lost it because it changed my screen. Yeah 6 months ago, would not believe that I'm auditioning for my dream role this week. Yeah, like literally. It's insane. It's so good. It's so good. It's so exciting and it's so deserved. Yeah. All right. Yeah, Will says, I can attest to client success. Hannah, another of Gemma's clients, got into the room for one of her dream jobs very recently. Yeah, she did. And that's just the start. So it doesn't just work for me, it's worked for clients too. there's your evidence, your proof that, like, if you think, it could work for me too. So by the end, this is my goal, that by the end of this masterclass, you're going to learn how to get more callbacks with perfect for you audition songs so that you can book your dream roles. I'm also going to be sharing something at the end as well, so make sure you stick around if you're like, oh yes, I need to work with you further, or I want to hear about this. And there's a special opportunity inside of it as well. So are you ready? Are you ready to learn the framework? Drop a yes in the chat if you're like, yes, that's what I came for, Gemma. Tell me everything I need to know. The chat's going crazy because you're all putting yes in. yes. Okay, great. Here we go. So this is the perfect audition song framework. So secret number one is split into 3 different secrets. So secret number 1 is knowing your casting. And that sounds really vague. Really, could it be difficult? Could it be easy? Like, what does it mean? But ultimately, knowing your casting means you know, A, what roles you could play, B, what shows you would be right and not right for, based on your skill set, based on your abilities, based on your age, based on your heritage. Knowing your casting means knowing who the F you are, basically. Knowing what you can do. So, are you singing songs that are too high? As in, are you stepping in the audition room going, I need to be able to belt to an E, so I'm going to go in, I'm going to sing this song and I'm going to hope for the best? Cannot tell you how many people I have seen do that. How many people I have, when I've been sat behind a panel or even in a casting director class or a mock audition panel or anything where people sing songs that are just outside of their range, top or bottom, either way, you sing low notes and they disappear, or you sing high notes and they're flat, or they're like, oh, like toe clenching. Are you singing, or are you auditioning for cruise pop rock shows? You're going in for We Will Rock You on Royal Caribbean and you're a legit soprano. Like, you have to know where you fit so that you can apply yourself in the right way. So ultimately it comes down to, what are you great at? I want you to put one thing, so one thing of your skill set. It can be your singing, it could be you as an actor, it could be you as a dancer, something that you're incredibly strong at. So you're like, I am the best in the room at this. Put one thing into the chat. You should be like, straight away, bam, this is what I'm best at, this is what I'm incredible at. And I'm not saying by doing this isn't a, there's Gus, if you can hear him. This isn't me saying you box yourself. This isn't you putting yourself in a box. This is you going, okay, I know that I'm in the library. I know that I'm in the supermarket because I'm a food. Like, if you went into a library and there was a row of bananas, a row of apples, and a row of like mincemeat, you'd be like, what the hell is going on here? I mean, like, this is the wrong place. And that is what you're doing. You're a book in the middle of the fruit section if you're going into a cruise that's a pop rock audition and you're singing, you know, Wishing You Were Somehow Here Again. Like a little old lady sat on a seesaw. Like, it's like, well, hang on, this is a kids park. There's a lady on the soft play. What's going on? So what are you great at? Let's have a look. This to you should be an easy answer. Should be a really easy answer. You shouldn't have to overthink this at all. Yes, Lisa, soulful sounds. I can wake up in the morning and sing a C6, no warm up. Woo-hoo-hoo! We love that. We love that. My C6 in the morning without a warm up is like, I feel very good about my legit soprano. Yes, yeah. I mean, Lara, your voice is stunning. Billy says, belting contemporary musical theatre. Bam. Yes, 100%. 100% in agreement to that. Hold up, my things have moved. I don't know why my chat does this. It does this little like scooting along thing. Okie dokie. Character, comedic songs. Yes, wonderful. Comedy, romantic lead. Also psychotic characters. Like, I can love you, but I also might kill you. Jacqueline says, strong belter songs by women who have been through it and are stronger for it. Yes, Jacqueline, so accurate. Will says golden age. Yeah. Billy says big sister, teenager, high school. Yeah. So knowing what you're great at is important, and not being afraid to say it. Like, there's nothing wrong with putting in here that I'm a strong whatever. And in fact, I'd love to know, you'll have to, I'd love you to put a yes in the chat if you're like, yeah, I did feel a bit weird. Did you feel weird putting that in there? Or were you like, yeah, this is what I am, this is who I am, this is what I'm great at? Or did you go, oh, I feel a bit like I'm not going to be the first, like, or it feels weird to talk about myself like highly, or think like, oh yeah, I'm really good at this? Yes, says Maria. Yeah. Lara, you're absolutely right. Lara said it's cool to be able to take ownership of the things that I feel great at. You need to take ownership, because if you step into an audition room and you don't think you're great, why on earth would the audition panel think you're great? Like, they don't know you at all. You know you very, very, very well, or you should. So if you are like, I actually don't know what I'm good at, then you need to solve that. You need to find out what you are good at. And a great way of doing that is singing through loads of different things, dancing loads of different styles, trying different acting pieces, looking back at what you've done, whether it's professional or non-professional, like what sort of roles. Obviously, if we're talking about drama school and you were playing the granny, then that's not going to be relevant because nobody here is a granny. But using things that are useful. And this, again, this is another thing. I'm not digging at colleges and universities and drama schools and stuff in this, although I do have my issues with them. You aren't always prepared for where you fit in the industry because you've been playing roles that should be played by a 50-year-old, but there isn't a 50-year-old because you're at drama school and everyone's like 18, 20. Same as when somebody says to you, oh, you're a classical soprano, but you need to have a rock song, you need to have a pop song. So if you go in for We Will Rock You or Bat Out of Hell, where you're going for a cruise, you've got the right songs. But if you don't do that well, why would you can carry on working on that behind the scenes. And I honestly believe you should be working on your weaknesses behind the scenes. But I am not going to go into a flat out, like, I'm not going to go into the Cats dance call and be like, yeah, I can kind of dance. Do I want to die? Like, do I A, want to feel absolutely shit about myself, B, look like an absolute fool, and C, just feel like really rubbish, really rubbish, and probably hurt myself? This is why you've got to know your casting so that you can step into the right rooms, the rooms that you're going to see success in. Because if you're stepping into auditions that are not for you, that are not your strengths, you better believe that there's enough performers out there that people that it is their strength are going in before and after you. So there's literally, like, it's only going to make you feel rubbish, which is also why I cut down going to so many auditions after I had my perfect audition songs, because I was like, oh, this is who I am. Like, this is part of the problem. I've been going in for something that actually isn't phenomenally me. Yeah, I can do it, but there's people in the room where that is their thing and they're phenomenal at it. That's the reality of this game. There's so many performers. And something that Danielle Torrento said in a masterclass quite recently, which when she said it, I was literally nodding, but at the same time I was like, she said, there are so many talented performers out there. We do not need to make any exceptions or sacrifices. Like, if you can't hit that note, somebody else can. We don't need to go, oh, but we do really like you, we'll let that fly, because they'll find somebody they really like that can. And that's hard to literally hear. I get that, which is why in the moment I was like, you're so right. But like, also the performer in me was like, oh, that's hard. That's harsh to hear. But like, that is the reality. There's so many incredible performers. Yes, I'm just gonna jump back in. Yeah, where am I? I'm a little bit behind with some of these. Yeah, Lara, going back to what you said about taking ownership of what you do really well, like, you absolutely should. It can be weird at first, but the more you do it, the better it feels, definitely. Because as well, the more you say it and the more you voice it, or the more you look at, everyone else around you and go, actually, yeah, you are really good at that. And people will do the same to you. Like how I didn't sit and read any of your things and be like, okay, so-and-so said this. But notice how I agreed with every single one of you, because that is who you are. And if you put something in there, like, i.e. Jacqueline, I'm going to use you as an example because you always do such powerful songs and you are like leading lady, strong woman. Like, there is never going to be a day where you don't play a role that is a real strong woman. If you'd have put in there like, oh, I play the weak characters, I called you out and been like, no, you do not. Like, Same with, like, if Billy was like, oh, I could probably play a mum, I'd be like, no, Billy, you can't. Like, I'm there's no good thing out of me lying to you ever, which is why I am so honest, to the point where there's sometimes times where you're like, oh, like, that hurt a bit, but it's something you need to hear, i.e. I could have not told you what Danielle Torrento said, but knowing that the reality is, if you don't go in your audition and show them what you're great at, if you go into the audition room and you show what you can't do, they're not going to hire you. They're not going to recall you. They're not going to think, oh, that person's great, but not for this. Let's bring them in for this. Which is why you need to know what you're great at. Yeah, Jacqueline said, yeah, you would. I would. Any of you that know me well enough will know that. Yeah. Billy says there would have been a time where I felt weird, but I didn't even hesitate then. Yeah. You literally, it's because you've morphed into me. But it does make a difference, like, who you spend time with. Before spending time with me, with, you know, Will, Elise inside of, like, the Leading Lady Collective as well, like the members, everyone's so like, yeah, I'm really good at this. And they're like, yeah, you are really good at that. You need to be around those people to remind you, like, oh, it's okay to be confident. Like, being confident is a good thing. If you step into an audition room confident in your abilities, then the audition panel are going to trust you. They're going to go, yeah, I can give this person a lead role in my £1 million, $1 million, €1 million show, and not worry that they can't pull it off. Not worry that they're going to fall apart because it's too much for them. Yeah, Elise says, I felt confident saying it, but felt like I should have had more that I think I'm great at. Yeah, I like that. I like that very much. There's definitely more that you could have put down. And that comes with discovering, like, okay, this is what I'm really, really good at. But even if, and like I said to you, the reason why I said put one thing that you're really great at is because that's one step. That's not me going, okay, in this audition song framework, let's go from step 0 to step 5. I was literally like, okay, step 1, I want one thing that you're really good at, because everyone can do that. And then you can add and grow on that. I didn't say put every single thing that you do insanely well into the chat, which, I mean, you could have. Some of you were like, oh, and this, oh, and this. Jacqueline says, bit weird, but I've been better at it recently. Dealing with the news, I'm feeling pretty low, so it did take a second to remember what's true. Yes, this is also why you have to remind yourself of who you are, where you fit, what you're great at, so that in those moments where you do get a bit lost or things aren't going the way you want them to go, you're like, hang on, let's remember who I am at my core. I can handle anything. And I know, Jacqueline, that you are that person. Yeah, Lara's commenting on what I said about, yeah, drama school. I played so many old women roles in school, both for theatre and opera. I had no clue what my playing age was for a while and avoided the princess stuff, which is truly my niche. Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, playing Beadle Bamford in your 3rd year, literally when Will, you look about 17 years old. And I'm sure then you probably looked about 14. What the heck? Interesting. Elise says, I was told by a singing teacher at drama school that I'm a lazy soprano, but I now know that it's not me, just because it's not a style I'm comfortable and confident with. Yeah, but that means that's something you can work on behind the scenes. Absolutely. And you should, and I do. But like legit soprano or, you know, Christine Daae, Carlotta are not things that I'm going to be stepping in an audition room for, because I know I will not feel in my element. Put me in for, you know, things that require a contemporary sound and I'm flying, because that's where I feel great. That's where I know I fit. Yeah, it's really important. So that's your task, to go and really be like, okay, this is what I'm really, really great at. The second part, so secret number 2 of the perfect audition song framework, is being you. This sounds so, this is another one, and I've got to be honest, when I was typing these out, I was like, these sound really simple and really vague at the same time, and I'm not sure I'm okay with that, but there's no other way to put it. Being you. Not trying to be like anybody else, not trying to be what you think the panel wants you to be. I'll be completely honest with you, 90% of the time, the panel don't even know what they want or need. Shows, long-running shows, I'm going to use Phantom of the Opera as a really good example for this. They have, in the West End, they have a cast currently, and they're meant to, before they start auditions for the next year of contracts, they send out it's fallen out of my head what it's called, like a renewal offer thing. It's like an application. So people in the show already can request what they're considered for, or what they want for the next year. I.e., my friend is a cover for one of the managers, the opera managers. On his thing, he can say, I want to be considered for a manager. If I don't get a manager on the next contract, I'm leaving. He can say, I want to be considered for a manager, but I'm happy in my role as cover or as alternate. If that doesn't become available, if so-and-so is not leaving, I'm happy where I am. I still love being a part of the show. He can also say, I'm happy in the role I'm at. I want to stay exactly what I'm doing, if possible. So casting and creatives then get all of these in. At this point, they've already put the briefs out. They put the brief out for every single role, to say, like, you know, we're taking applications for every single, or submissions, sorry, I don't know why I said applications. We're taking submissions for every single role. So people send in and go, yeah, I would be a perfect Christine. Agents submit and go, yeah, if you need Piangi, this guy's exactly who you need. This girl is a bit young, but she'd be a great Carlotta cover. And literally, they get all these subs for Phantom. They get agents pushing. They get actual performers pushing themselves, like, really need to see me. Very often at this point, they don't even know what they need yet, because they haven't been through all the forms. Once they've been through the forms, they decide on if there's any changes in the jigsaw, any missing pieces in the jigsaw, any bits they need to fill. Then they go back to the cast, the current cast, and say, this is what we want to offer you for the next year. If it's what they want, or if it's what they don't want, then that can change things. And people might have changed their minds as well since they gave in their form. They're starting the auditions. They're seeing some people that they think, yeah, you'd be a great fit for this. Very often they're like, okay, we know this person is leaving, so we're going to need to fill them. That might be in-house, or that might be external, a new hire. But do you see how even in a show that is established, that runs year after year after year, the panel still don't know what they need until literally further down the line? If it's a brand new show, like, you know, Mean Girls coming into the West End, I know has been really hard to cast, really hard to cast. And you'd think, oh, well, there's so many obvious people for like different roles. There's so many incredible performers. Like, they could bring people over that were in, you know, the Broadway production, or that have done the national, you know, the US national tour. There's so many, performers. But even there, they haven't fully, they don't always know what they want. So how can you possibly know what somebody on the table wants that doesn't even know what they want? Which is why you have to stop thinking about it completely like that. What do I want out of this audition? That is what you need to be asking yourself. Not what do they want to see. It's what do I want to show them? Which goes back to your casting, yeah? To be like, this is what I do really well, but also this is who I am as a person. What do they need to know about you? Are you really bright and bubbly and funny and comedic and kind of clumsy and kind of awkward, but really cool to be around? Are you somebody that they're like, do you know what? I'd love to go for a drink with her like after the end of the auditions. Are you someone that they're like, they're quite intense? Like they are hard workers. They're quite quiet. They're really introverted. Their sense of humor is really dry. What they want to know what you would bring to a role, to a show, to a cast, not just what you can do. What you can do is important because that determines, you know, whether you fit the jigsaw they're trying to make and where you may potentially fit in the jigsaw they're trying to put together. But being you is the difference between this person booking the job and this person booking the job. Well, if there's something about you that they're like, do you know what? This cast has got to be together for 12 months in really close proximity. Like they're going to be living together. This person is going to get on with anyone. They've got that vibe. They would choose that person. I'm coming into the chat because I saw there's a comment or two. Yeah. So what I want you to do now is put one thing in the chat about you as a person. Like, what do the panel need to know about you? What does somebody that's never met you before need to know about you? Or what would you bring to their production? Yeah, hardworking, infectious energy, determined and passionate. That's what needs to be coming across in your auditions. Which can be hard when you're in the room for like 1 minute sometimes. Hardworking, team player, funny, quick to make friends with people, hardworking, easygoing, but introverted. Yeah. I can't see yours. At least it's covering with a little thing, but I can see you put hardworking, and I feel like there's something else, but for some reason it won't let me see what else you put. Very uplifting energy, works hard, team player. Yeah, love these. Loving these. And passionate. Yeah. Kind. Yes. Oh yes, you are. I think you're really kind. Yeah. Over deliver, laser focus, says random things that are funny. Yeah. It's that simple. And I always think it helps if you're like, oh, I don't know, like what is special about me, or like what stands out about me as a person, or what do people need to know? Go and ask those around you, those people that are closest to you that know you in different capacities. That's always helpful to be like, am I coming across as the person that I want to be? I always think that's an interesting exercise. All right, secret number 3 is leading lady confidence, which I'll be honest, if you get secret 1, knowing your casting under wraps, under control, you've got that, you know who you are, where you fit in the industry, you're bringing you into the audition room, you know who you are as a person and what's great about you as a person as well as a performer, you will naturally start to have this. Leading lady confidence isn't something you can buy off the shelf. It is a product of working on yourself, of knowing who you are, where you fit, and really loving and celebrating who you are. This also will come when you've got your right songs as well. So kind of like these piece together. When you listen to a song and you're like, this was for me, and you feel that like there's something about you that just takes up a bit more space when you find the right song, or listen to a song that you're like, oh, or you get an audition for the job that you're like, or someone says, yeah, do you know what, you are really funny, you're like, yeah. Leading lady confidence. So this includes, but isn't limited to, how you walk in and out of an audition. If I came on this Zoom and was like, hi everyone, so I'm gonna be sharing my perfect audition song framework, and it's secret one is you've got to know your cast. Oh my god, you'd be like, well, she clearly has no idea what she's talking about. If you walk into an audition room and you walk out of an audition room and you are sure of yourself, you are not looking at the floor. So yesterday, right, I don't know why all of a sudden I've got interest in this, but it's because I think it's similar to auditions. I was watching last night, I don't watch a lot of telly, but Dan had it on TV. The what's it called? Oh, Dragon's Den, where they go in and they pitch their product to the dragons, like to get an investment, but share a portion of their business with them in return for money invested. And oh my goodness, so the lift opens and they walk out in front of the dragons. The amount of people that walked out that I had already decided I didn't want to invest in them, purely on how they walked out of a lift, how they held themselves, how they then spoke. So how you talk to the panel, how you talk to the pianist, like how they spoke about their product, how they spoke about, you know, to the dragons. I was like, I wouldn't invest in you. I don't even care what your product is. Like, I'm not bought into you. They buy into you as a person in an audition. How you present yourself, it matters. If you're not the sort of person that wears heels and tights and a pretty dress, don't step in the audition room wearing that. No matter who tells you to wear that, ignore them. Wear what represents you. On Monday at my concert, I didn't buy anything new because I already decided that I had the perfect outfit. I was like, this is Gemma Ann Barnes. And it was literally long sleeve. Well, you saw the picture, long sleeves, down to the floor, sparkly jumpsuit. Now, I don't wear that to auditions, don't get me wrong. That's my like on stage, I'm taking over the world jumpsuit. And when I used to go to auditions, like 2017, 16, 15, when I was auditioning for cruises quite a lot, I always had the same audition outfit. I was known for my audition outfit. I had this electric blue pencil skirt, a black off-the-shoulder top, and black heels. Every single audition, I wore the same thing. That was who I was. Now, would I wear heels in an audition? No, thank you. Because it's not who I am. I might wear heeled boots. Well, actually, that's a lie. Oh, I do. I was going to say I don't have any. I have one pair of heeled boots, but I probably wouldn't wear them. I'd probably wear flats realistically now. How you present yourself needs to be you, because you won't feel confident if you step in the room in something that's not you. I'd love to know, actually, has anyone stepped into an audition room before, not like wearing something that they thought they should wear, and then been like, I could not be more uncomfortable. I don't feel like me at all. I love that. Billy says it was the most Gemma outfit ever, wasn't it? Like, literally. Love that jumpsuit. Laura says, yeah, so do I. I feel like I am taking over the world in that jumpsuit. We have Shark Tank in the US, same concept. Yeah. Oh, the comments keep moving. I don't know why it's doing this. It did this to me before. Maybe if I close the chat and open it back up again. Let's see. Yeah, Maria says, slowly understanding my style. Yeah. And like, you don't have to be like massively stand out. Like, that's not what it's about. If you don't wear bright colors, neon colors, you know, and loads of makeup, you don't have, you know, bright red hair, like, you don't just gonna do these things to stand out. Like, you stand out by being 100% who you are. We had to wear blacks all the time in training. Yeah, so I was the same, Will, which is funny because when I came out of college, I then was like, I never want to see black again in my life. And I didn't wear anything black for years because I was like, no, I need to be colourful. And because I'm not a, you know, dark personality type of person. I just didn't like black back then. 100%. It's so hard to be confident yourself, says Jacqueline, when you feel like you're faking it with your outfit. Yes, 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 100%. For opera auditions, I had no clue what to wear. Thankfully, the dress code's becoming more reasonable and accommodating for personal style and comfort. That is it as well, down to a T. You have to feel comfortable. Yes, you want to look like you want to be comfy. So, you know, again, it comes down to like who you are. Because when you walk in and out of an audition room and you're wearing heels and you never wear heels, you're not going to feel stable at all. Same as if you do wear heels in an audition, but you don't practice singing and performing in heels, you need to do that. It's like going into an audition and they're like, okay, can you put your heels on now? And you've never done a dance class in heels. Like, you should expect to crash and burn. Same with like when you talk to the panel and you talk to the pianist, like, have you done that mock audition scenario? And it doesn't even need to be with people. When I was practicing the chat for my concert, now I'm very, as you can tell, very naturally chatty, conversational type of person. I'm a very good storyteller. I go in on my stories, I talk things through. And when I was practicing for it, I hadn't done it in front of anybody. I was stood in this room talking through the things that I was going to talk about. Because if I just got on stage and been like, okay, let's see what happens, and I didn't know what I was going to say or come out of my mouth, like, you need to know, okay, when I step into an audition room, I say this. When I speak to a pianist about my music, I say this. And you might be the sort of person that you're like, I need a script because I fall apart with like nerves, or just I'm not very good in those sort of scenarios, or I don't know what to say, so I'm going to give myself this specific, this is what I say to the pianist, this is what I say to the panel. I also think like you don't always need to say loads of things. Like, I've got to be honest, when you're sat on an audition panel and 15 people in a row have come in and been like, hi, how are you? And you're like, I'm still fine. Like, I'm like, yeah, like, I'm good. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how they are. Like, actually, realistically, you don't care how the panel is. You hope that they're in a nice mood. You hope that they're going to like you, or that they're going to have a job for you at some point in your life. But ultimately, you don't care how they feel. Like, you don't. Same as if you ask them, oh, how are you? And they were like, actually, I'm having a really shit day. Everyone's been rubbish and I can't really be asked to be here. You're going to sing your song now. You'd be like, oh, okay. So it's knowing, like, you know, when to talk, how much to talk, all of that. Yeah, just a few days ago, I had a recording session for self-tapes and then wore the same outfit to an in-person audition the next day and felt super comfy, and it came through really well in my audition. Yeah. And that's also part of the reason I always used to wear the same outfit. It was like, was then I never had to think about what I'm wearing. Never did I go, what do I wear to this audition? I was like, okay, this is me. Let's go. And yes, like, there's going to be times where you're like, okay, I'm going in for something that's quite rocky. If you're right for both We Will Rock You and Mamma Mia, you're going to be bringing slightly different versions of yourself into each room. Maybe you'll wear a bit more makeup to one, a bit less to the other. Maybe you'll wear sandals to Mamma Mia, but you'll put on like your biker boots for We Will Rock You. But ultimately, it's still you. And my final point on this, I went off on a bit of a tangent. It's not personal. That's the key here. When you go into an audition and they say, yes, can you come back on this date? We'll email you to let you know. No, thank you. That's all we want from you today. Thanks so much for coming in again. It's not personal. It's not personal. It's not a personal attack on you. It's not that they didn't like you. It's not that they think you're rubbish. It's not that they don't think you're good enough. Very often, it's that right now, you don't fit the puzzle piece they're looking for, or they don't know what they're looking for, but they know that you're not the right fit. And that's fine, because you will be the right fit for something. And I truly believe that if you're not the right fit for that, it's because you're meant for something else. Going back to the 2 dream jobs I was auditioning for side by side when I booked Hong Kong Disneyland, the other job, Mamma Mia, I went in the room and for the first time ever, they were like, look, Gemma, we brought you in to see how you're doing, but you're still too young. And I was like, okay, that's fine. And I remember leaving that room and being so upset over something that I can't control, firstly. But bonus, I'm only getting older, so that's a good thing. But it's not a personal thing. After crying about it on a train platform, I was like, it's because I'm meant for something else. That didn't happen because I'm meant for something else, which I was, because very soon after that, like within the next couple of months, within the next couple of weeks, I booked Hong Kong Disneyland. I was like, okay, yeah, I get this. So if it doesn't happen, it's because you're meant for something else. And it's never personal, which is why when you do go in the audition room and you do audition for things, it has to be, here we go, like, this is what I have to offer, this is who I am, this is how I sing, this is how I tell a story, this is how wonderful I am. If you've got something for me or I'm useful to you right now, great. If not, call me back in the future because I'm awesome. Not taking it personally. Is there any alternative to say to a casting director to show personality without asking the same old, how are you? Well, it depends how long you are in the room for, and gauging the personality of the panel, whether they are a very in-out type of panel. Like, some of them don't want to talk to you. Some of them just don't want to talk to you. They're like, I just want to see if you can sing and tell a story, and then we'll get to know you after that. Some of them want to get to know you and will chat to you a bit. But I also think you can tell who somebody is by the way they walk into an audition room, by the way they say hello, by the way they talk to a pianist, by their song choice. They also get your personality come through from, yes, your choice of song, but how you perform that song. So I think you get your personality across by 100% just being you and being confident in who you are and what you've got to offer. Because I could walk in an audition room, or I could walk onto this right now and be like, hey, and you get a different vibe to if I walked in and I was like, hi, oh, hello, how are you? Like, it's such a simple thing because it's one word. I've said hello 3 times in 3 very different ways, and that's given you a different person. And body language is, yeah. Actions speak louder than words. And I find people that talk more in an audition scenario are very often the less confident people than the people that walk in and they're like, hi, I'm going to be singing this, take it to the pianist, sing their song. Thank you so much. And that's it. Yeah, Lara said, I did start my last audition. Oh, it's moved. Sorry, 2 seconds. Let me move that down. I did start my last audition and with saying I'd just come from a princess gig and that was a fun pivot. It was an opera company audition and they were receptive to that too. I still have my princess makeup on. It was a tight squeeze, but it was the last person. I was the last person and they said it was a perfect way to end the night. I got great feedback. Wouldn't recommend it for all settings, but it worked for that one. Yeah. Yeah. It's knowing your audience as well, isn't it? Which I think the more you audition and the more you're sure in who you are, you naturally that comes as part and parcel. Yeah, I think it's not feeling like you need to say anything or that you have anything to prove. It's just that I'm here to share me. You're confident, your personality will come across just in how you walk in a room. Yeah, going into a recall like Royal Caribbean where the pianist has the music, how do you not totally dismiss them? So in that scenario, because you're not going to them to explain how you want it because they know how to do it, it's literally walking in. And I think you can acknowledge them. Like if you walk in the room and you say hello to the panel, like look to the pianist, say hello, that's polite. Same as when you've finished your song, I would thank them as well. Like once you've finished and they've taken their hands off the piano, say thank you. Or if the panel says something to you, thank them afterwards or thank them before you leave the room. Like just acknowledging their presence, literally looking at them rather than like walking in and being like, ah, bye. Like give them a little like thank you moment. That's how you don't completely dismiss them. All right, so there are your 3 secrets. I'm just going to take a quick sip of water as well while I move this down. Yeah, Lara's given some good thoughts there as well. All right, so let's kind of, as we kind of start bringing this to a close, using these secrets, using this formula or this framework will get you more callbacks and book you the jobs you want. It will. It's a proven process and I've literally gone through it step by step. Now, I do have a way that you can work with me more to implement what you've learned today. So if you want to get your perfect audition songs, you want to feel confident in every single audition, you want to get more callbacks and start booking your dream jobs, I am going to share how. Some of you will know about this, but I'd love you to stick around because I'm going to be sharing something at the end as well for being on this call that I will invite you to. Are you ready to find out how you can work with me to do exactly this? Drop a yes or an emoji into the chat if you're like, yeah, tell me about it. I'm interested. I'm intrigued. Or if you're like, Gemma, I don't want to know, you can leave. You can absolutely, you can take, like I said, you can take these secrets, you can take this framework and go and do all the things. Yeah. Okay, amazing. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. So, rep revamp. Now, some of you have been in this. I know some of you are in it now as well. So you'll have to let us know your thoughts as well on how you found it in the chat. I know Billy did explain what, where she was, and what's happening for her right now. But inside a rep revamp, this is the transformation you'll have. You will know your casting. You will know where you fit in the industry so that you go to the right auditions, so that you feel great about every audition you go to. Whether you book the job or you don't, you're like, I know I was meant to be in that room. I know I did a great job. And actually book jobs. Step into audition rooms for jobs that you're going to book. You'll feel like a leading lady. You will literally feel leading lady confident with your audition rep. You'll have exactly what you need for all of your auditions. So we're not ticking off like boxes. We're not going, okay, do we have this thing and this thing and this thing that college or drama school said? No. What do you need as the skill, with the skill set you have as the person you are? You'll get more callbacks because you know who you are. And you're walking into audition rooms for the roles and shows that you are perfect for. This is the program that if you want to become a lead role musical theatre performer, this is the one for you. You'll book your dream shows, you'll book your dream roles. That is the whole intention of this 12 months, that's a long time, 12-week program. It would be very long down if we did it over 12 months. It would also be very intense for me. It'd be a very long time. Yeah, Lara says, loving rep revamp. As someone who had 0 pop options and no idea what my voice could do in that genre, it's really opened my eyes to its possibility. Yeah, to the possibilities there. Yeah, I'm loving your pop options as well, Lara. Loving them. So here's everything that you get inside of the program. And if any questions are coming up for you throughout this, then please drop them into the chat. I will answer them. So you obviously get your audition song suggestions. This is, so I say you get like 6+. You don't, you get more than that. You always get more than that because I'm that sort of person. I always over deliver, good or bad, however you deem that to be. I will always give you more than, so you can choose your faves. You'll have all the songs that you need for any audition. That's the intention of this. You're like, okay, so if right now you look at your folder and similar to Lara, she was like, I've got all my soprano stuff down, like, and these things work. I don't need that. What I need is this. I need some contemporary, I need some pop, like pop definitely. So we find those. Same as with, I was talking about Laura. Laura's folder was completely nothing. So we started from scratch and gave her everything she needed. Again, it depends on you as a person as to what you need. For example, she does not have a rock song in there because she is not a rock singer right now. This doesn't mean forever. Like 10 years from now, we might be like, oh, you need a rock song because actually now your voice has changed. The things you're working on behind the scenes have made a difference to what we now need to bring in the audition room. So these are the songs that are perfect for you and your voice right now. And then you also get help preparing your audition cuts and your sheet music as well. So you source your music and then you bring it back and you're like, right, this is what I'm thinking, or does this cut work? What do I do with this piece of music? You know exactly, you've got your 16, you've got your 32, you've got your fuller version if you're going in for Cameron Macintosh over here. You'll also notice on these, I put the value of each thing as well at the bottom so that you know exactly how much like money this is worth. I feel like as performers in the musical theatre world, we don't really talk about money a huge amount, but I think it's important for you to know how much value you're getting in this, like money-wise value. You also get your one-to-one career and vocal coaching every single month. So this is monthly. This is so that you can work out your casting, we can get super clear. You can also work on your audition songs, on your voice, and be planning the steps inside the career session. This is where you plan the steps you need to take. You also very often, I know Billy used to use me for this, Lara, you used me for this the other day, like as a bit of a soundboard to be like, this is happening right now, or I've got these auditions that are coming up, or I'm submitting myself for this. We look at your CV, your resume, your profiles, your online profiles, your reels. Make sure that everything is selling you and you are good to go. The value of this is insane because this is 3 months worth of one-to-one coaching. Yeah, Billy says yes, absolutely. You also get weekly Voxer coaching. This is like for your ongoing support with your songs, with your career. So weekly inside of Voxer, this is where you guys can drop in and say like, oh, I've got this audition coming up. I was thinking of singing this. What do you think? Yeah, perfect. This is the cut. What do you think? You can drop in tapes. You can drop in, you've done some self-tapes. You've been looking at deciding between a couple of songs maybe that I've suggested to you, or you found, outside of this, and you want to get some feedback on it. You want to work on them. You want to request anything specifically sort of from me, then you can. But make sure that you've got everything you need and that you feel supported and celebrated. The whole point of this, and this is why I'm so big on group coaching and on using these apps like Voxer, like Slack we use inside the Leading Lady Collective. Voxer we use for the members group chat, and I use for one-to-one coaching. This is so you never feel like you're on your own. I get it. I completely get it. There are times when you're auditioning and you're like, why am I the only one not getting an audition? Or why am I the only one that's not got a callback? Why is this not happening for me? You never are the only one. You think you are because you haven't surrounded yourself with people that are going through what you're going through. Same as when and I kid you not, and you guys, I know a few of you are in the membership as well. If you're in the membership, you'll have to say what you think of the members chat. But when you literally jump in that members chat and you're like, oh, I got an audition for this, how many people go, oh my God, that's amazing? Some of you went in there and were like, I've just changed agents, or I've dropped this agent because they're not working for me anymore, or, oh, I've got an agent meeting with this person, oh, I've got an audition for this, and everyone's like, oh, that is everything. Always feeling celebrated, like celebrating every single little win will keep you going through the hard, through the great. Yeah. Billy says that members chat is the most supportive place, makes my heart happy. Yeah. Yeah. Elise says it's so nice and warm and cozy. Yeah, we love it. We love it in there. It's wonderful. Really, really wonderful. And then, so, I mean, I can't even keep up with the maths of how much all of this is coming to. Yeah, Will says the members chat is where it's at. You then get your group audition and performance coaching. This is for you to really focus on your storytelling. We definitely discuss cuts in this. I know we had our Lara, you were on yesterday's one with Revamp, like the current program, is to make sure that you've always given a great performance, and you're the singer that the panel can't stop thinking about, even if you don't get the job, even if you aren't sure if you're right for the project, even if you're different to anyone they've had before, but they're like, we have to have them. We have to have that performer in something, like we have to work with them. You're that one. You're the one that is in their head all the time. And then at the end of the program, which is so exciting, I love this, is one of my favorite things, is the West End casting director and musical director mock audition and Q&A. So the way that this works is you can do this so this entire program can be fully done online. You also have, if you're in London, a couple of options to do some things in London or around London. So with this, you will literally be in a Zoom room or in an actual room with a West End casting director with a West End musical director. So the previous casting directors and musical directors we've had have cast for shows like on the West End, around the UK, around the world, and musical directed on things all over the world as well. So we had Nick Barstow in last time, who I know, Billy, your mock audition panel was with him. He's a musical director. He has been working on Next to Normal. That's been his favourite thing that he's worked on in the last, in his career ever. But that's been last year and this year. That's what he's working on. Casting directors, we've had people, we've had Paul Wooler in, who casts for Phantom of the Opera. in the West End and the UK tour. We've had Grace McInerney in as well, McInerney, who has been with Jim Arnold, who cast for Wicked. So she's been on the casting teams for Wicked. She's been on the casting teams for Operation Mincemeat. She's more recently doing a lot of work with Pearson Casting as well, who literally are taking over the world. So yeah, I adore this. The reason why I love this so much is because, unlike the casting director series or casting director workshops, you go in one at a time and you get feedback not only on your performance, but on how you come across and your CV, your resume, everything as a whole. And then at the end, we all come back together and have a Q&A session to make sure that you're like confident, happy, ready to fly with your new songs, with all of this feedback, with everything that you can now take into your auditions. So total value of all of this is over, I couldn't believe this, I did this earlier and I was like, how much? Is actually over £4,500. But obviously you don't pay £4,500 because that's a lot of money. It's worth it, trust me. When you're getting in audition rooms for things that you actually want, you're getting recalls and you are booking jobs, you step on stage as a leading lady in your dream role, you'll be like, that was bloody worth doing. You won't even think, oh, I spent X amount of money. You genuinely won't. But you will pay £997. There is also a payment plan option available as well for this. So if this is a program that you're interested in, or you're like, oh, I've been kind of thinking about this, or I've seen this, I've kind of been on the fence, then this is literally like, this is the program that will change your entire life. Like Billy said a minute ago, it will. So you pay, it's £997 in total, or as I said here, you've got 4 monthly payments of £249.25. So, but that's not it. Not only will you get everything that's included, so your audition song suggestions, your monthly vocal coaching, your monthly career coaching, one-to-one sessions, you also get your weekly Voxer coaching. It's 2 days a week. We're in Voxer every week for 12 weeks for the whole program, although it's always been longer than 12 weeks. Monthly group coaching as well. You get your mock audition panel and Q&A. So all of that. You also get, I'm throwing in a bonus, you will also get, when you join before the 28th of February, you'll also get our Singing Pop for Musical Theatre Performers Masterclass. This is so that you can learn how to choose popular music songs. So we're talking about your standard sort of bubble gum pop, your recent current rap. We're talking about R&B. We're talking about jazz. We're talking about country. We're talking about like your 50s, 60s, your swing, your Motown, your soul. Literally, that's what I class as your popular music. Things that you would hear on the radio, things that aren't musical theatre. So how to choose those songs for auditions and how to perform them, because it is different. It is different. So that's what we're going to dive into. So many contemporary musicals are asking for pop songs, and you want to make sure that you feel confident with your pop song choice and your performance so that you can go and book those jobs. So if you are, so Lara, I know, you know, you're in Rep Revamp right now. I'm giving you access to this for being here today to celebrate you and say, like, well done for showing up. So I will be sending you the link to join us for this. This is on the 29th of February, I believe. So yeah, that bonus is, as I said, only valid if you join before the 28th of February. So you need to be in before the 28th of February to get on board with that. So Rep Revamp, just to wrap it up, Rep Revamp is for you if you're ready, you want to know your casting, you want to feel confident in your singing auditions, you want to get consistent callbacks, you want to book your dream roles, your dream shows, then Rep Revamp is for you. Does anyone have any like questions on it? I'm just going to come back to the chat. And what I'm going to do as well, oh, where's it gone? Here. I'm going to drop in where are we? Yeah, so Will says the temptation to see if I can get this as a birthday present for next time it comes around. Yeah, I mean, that is the best way to do these things. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in the links if you want to join now. Also, if you have any questions, then please ask any questions. So this is the link to the 4-month payment plan. If you're like, yeah, I know I want to do this. We're starting in March. March is the next start date. So your first session is a one-to-one session. So any date in the first 2 weeks of March is when you start. So you could literally, yeah, your one-to-ones are scheduled around your, I know a lot of people are often like, oh, well, hang on a minute, like what do I do if I can only do, like, one of the clients that's joining us for Revamp in March is only available Tuesday morning. So I was like, that's fine, like, we'll always do our session Tuesday morning. Same as like Lara and I are in different time zones, and we've always managed to make it work as well. So it's definitely one of those where we will do our best to like work around you and make sure that it's at a time that fits in with your time zone, and one-to-ones obviously are scheduled like literally around what you're available for. And then I'm just going to drop in the pay in full as well. Will says, after March, when's the next one planned for? I'm not sure yet. It'll probably be a few months after that. Summertime will probably be the next one after March. Yeah, summer will probably be the next one. But yeah, it's one of our signature programs, so it's absolutely not going anywhere. Like, I continuously watch it change performers into literally lead role performers. I watch you go, okay, this song is right, like like Lara said, you know, building your confidence and really building your rep out in an area that you had a bit of a hole, or you were like, do I fit here? And ironically, like, I know with you, Lara, you sort of opened up a bit to pop, and then you get an audition for like a country show that you're like, I never in a million years thought I'd be doing like something like that. So yeah, yeah, Will says birthday's 11th of August. Well, maybe an early birthday present. Has anyone got any like thoughts about this or questions about anything? I know, you know, for you might be sat there thinking, oh, I just don't know if I'm ready for this, or I don't know if I have the time. I'm not sure if this is right for me. Yeah, Laura says, crazy. Started to add more indie folk to my rep and never considered it. Yeah, it's wild. It's such a wild journey. Such a wild journey. But so worth it. So worth it. All right. So this brings us to the end. I'm going to come back to you. Now, as I said, you are so warm from sitting by the ring light, and I think wearing pink is like bringing out pink in my face even more. I have loved this. I found it really useful. Is there anything for you that you're like, I really have taken this away? Like, this is the thing that I'm like gonna remember from this. Drop it into the chat. I'd love to know what's been really useful for you. But this program is continuously like the program that it sells out. It blows my mind, and we have like the best time inside of it. I know within the next week I'm going to be revealing who Lara's Revamp panel is going to be, which is very exciting. Very much looking forward to that. Amazing. So mainly narrowing down and sorting rep out for rep audit. Yeah, fabulous. Elise says, for me, it's remembering to show them who I am in the room, not who I think they want to see. Yes, 100%, 100%. Lara says, like getting rid of the boxes that may have been built around us, knowing we're limitless. Yeah, literally 100%. Jacqueline says, yeah, agree with having the stuff that's you rather than what people have told you is needed. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I so loved that. I love the talk we had about how our niche is us and nobody else can define it for us. Literally that. Literally that. You are the niche. If people are like, oh, you know, what part of the industry, or like, what's your thing, what's your niche, like, you are the niche, what you can do. And you may find that you're like, yes, I'm incredible at this right now, I'm working on this behind the scenes, and that is something that becomes a thing that you're like, yeah, I can do that. You can absolutely be a top soprano, and you could be an Elphaba and a Glinda. Hello, Louise Dearman. Like, you can be Elphaba, belter, leading lady, strong woman role through and through. Rachel Tucker, Alice Fern. You can be like, I love to, like, I look at somebody like Betsy Wolfe and I'm like, oh my goodness, like, you know, you're really adaptable. She's literally done the last 5 years, but also done like Mystery of Edwin Droop. Like, she can sing that top soprano stuff, but then she's out there belting an E or whatever in Jason Robert Brown's material. Yeah, Jessie Weller is another one. Yeah, so many roles. Yeah, she's so, yeah. There are people out there doing it. So absolutely do not listen to people that are like, you need to be this one thing, or you need to be this one thing. Like, you need to do what you do really well. Whatever you do really well is what you should do. And whatever you don't do as well that you want to be good at, keep working on. Yeah, Cynthia Erivo for you. Yeah, Elise says, absolutely. Cynthia Erivo, mic drop. We'll just end it there. Anyone else listen to that end riff about 50 times? Yeah. No doubt on that. I was like, play, rewind, play, rewind, play. So good. Oh wow, I bet that was incredible, Lara. Saw her in the color purple. Holy moly, holy moly, so good. Yeah, absolute master. There's so many incredible performers that are defying that you need to be in a box rubbish. Yeah, absolutely. Wonderful. Well, as I said, you've got this bonus until the 28th of February. So for those of you that are like, I haven't done this, I want to do this program, then you have up until then to get the bonus. You'll still be able to join after that point. You just obviously won't get the bonus. If you're like unsure, you've got any questions, or you've got worries or thoughts about it, you're like, I don't know if this is right for me, then just send me a message on Instagram. That's the best way to reach out to me and talk to me about absolutely anything. Lara, I will add you to this POC training as well to make sure that you'll love it as well. You'll benefit from it so much. Even if you can't make it live, we're doing the replay, so you can join that. But yeah, amazing. All right, guys, go have the best rest of your Friday. And I will see you all very soon inside of Rep Revamp, inside of the Legionnaire Collective, inside of wherever I see you all. All right, see you later.